But this is everywhere and ought to be discovered.
Excellent, brilliant. Hello.
Pleased to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
You too.
Great. That's done. We can put that in the beginning now and it'll all make sense. You've taken me to a field in the middle of an estate. What on earth have you done this for? Why have you taken me here?
Well, that's a very good question, because it has to be said, actually, when you look around, why on earth would anyone have any interest in this? It looks derelict, overgrown, bit of a mess. Then I looked into it, and it turns out that, unbelievably, this is possibly the oldest community site in Britain. And it doesn't look much, but what was here goes back over, 6,000 years. The remains that we found here, largely in sort of post holes, which have been radiocarbon dated to prove their authenticity, do actually date it right back to more or less 4,000 BC, which is amazing. The other amazing thing about here is that, apart from its age and the fact that it's unique to an extent in that it's been lived on for all that time, it actually shows us a few things about what was wrong with our understanding of how people lived, because back then everyone thought that people just used to sort of hunt and gather and they were roaming around everywhere aimlessly, whereas in actual fact they were busy farming, it seems, because one of the amazing discoveries from here was that in one of the longhouses was a load of cereal discovered, which shows that this place was actually being used for farming and cultivation of cereal, which wasn't considered the thing that was going on at the time.
You live really close to here and your passion drove you to build a website around this. What drove that?
Well, because when I started to look into it, trying to find all the various pieces of information was proving a bit of a challenge. I thought it'd be quite nice if you just go to one place and everything was written in a fairly easy to read way. I'm not saying I've achieved that, but more accessible. As with here, I mean, it looks nothing like the most amazing site in Britain by quite a long way. But in actual fact, when you look into it, there's a large piece of history here. You wouldn't think that possibly this is the first community in Britain that's survived all this time through the Mesolithic period, the Neolithic period, through the Romans, through William the Conqueror, through 2 world wars, and it's still here now. People are still living here. And as you say, I live nearby, and I sort of look out my bedroom window and see people walking the dogs, and they probably got no idea actually what's just right here. I mean, the other incredible thing is that history going back to 4,000 BC, if not beyond. It was only discovered in 1984 when they were building the houses behind, and before doing that there was a thought there was a Roman road here somewhere, so some trial work was done to try and find this Roman road, and then what was discovered was this, which was a bit unexpected, I think. I'm not necessarily a historian or anyone that takes that much interest in stuff like that, but I think the interest for me is just the fact that it's local. It's right sort of on everyone's doorstep, and it is quite profound that this community has been here for 6,000 years, which is astonishing.
A person walks through here and says, "Oh, it's just a field, mate. What are you talking about?" What would you say to them?
Well, they're probably right. You can't really argue with the fact that it is just a field, but it's sort of what lies beneath and under the field. And I think probably as much as anything, although there's nothing here to see really, when you come here, you can sense the atmosphere because of its surroundings and where these people choose to live. Because you can see it's kind of well sheltered and there's water and lots of resources. But I think the thing with it being a field is what was said was nothing's ever owned. It's just sort of borrowed. So look after it for the day when you can proudly pass it on. And I think that's what would be a good aim for everyone, is to sort of see what's around them, look after it, and see what can be passed on.
That's so lovely.
Well, it's on the website, that bit. Can you imagine, the parties 4,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, that I've had the deer's heads on and the whole lot, and now it's all nice and quiet. It was discovered in a serendipitous moment. It was discovered by putting houses here. So, and this place that has been lived on for 6,000 years is continuing to be lived on. Also, as I was trying to point out as well, this, I'm amazed by it because it's right near me, but this is everywhere. And, all to be discovered. To think, and as well, for me to think that, and I live nearby, and I'm now living here, to continue that tradition. But
you're part of it in many ways, right?
Yes.
Because you're a jigsaw piece in the greater puzzle of things.
So me and my family are part of that picture as well.
Definitely shake your hand before I go.
Oh,
thank you
very
so much. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
No, you did likewise. I wish you the absolute best with your endeavour.